Hello again, my fellow patriots. Yeah, you're reading that right. 3.6 billion in taxes for guns they already own. I kind of went over this on my previous video, but yeah, he's coming for your guns. $200 for every assault weapon that you have, plus another $200 for every magazine you have that holds over 10 rounds. The average person will not be able to pay it. So you're going to have three options. One, you pay it somehow, and then you get to keep your guns. Two, you turn in your guns and magazines at their buyback programs that they'll be having. Or three, you give them the middle finger and you literally become a felon overnight. Let's read the story. Democrat presidential nominee Joe Biden's proposed gun control policy includes a provision that could require every AR-15 rifle be registered under the NFA unless there were some form of carve-out. This could mandate that American gun owners pay a $200 federal tax per AR-15 that they own. And it's not just AR-15. It will be, your AKs and stuff like that too. They will put that in there, trust me. The NRA, Andrew, are ruling in them. I'm terrible with names. You already know that. Told Breitbart News that the current low-end estimate of privately owned AR-15s in the United States is 18 million. A tax of $200 on 18 million AR-15s means that gun owners could potentially be required to pay a collective $3.6 billion in taxes if this policy were enacted into legislation. That figure does not even consider other guns that might be deemed assault weapons by Democrats, which could also fall under the same provisions as the NFA. Yeah, your AKs, and really, even if you have a Ruger 1022 that's got a threaded barrel, they would probably consider that an assault weapon. It's dumb. In addition to the $200 tax, owners of guns that are deemed assault weapons, under Biden's new view, the NFA could also be required to register these weapons with federal authorities, submit their fingerprints and photograph, and potentially submit to an FBI background check. Well, that's the whole point of the NFA. If you want to get a legitimate assault weapon, meaning something capable of selective fire or full auto, which no AR-15 is. But for short-barreled rifles or suppressors, yeah, you have to go through the NFA, $200 right then, your fingerprints, front and profile, pictures, every bit of your information, and 9 months to a year you might hear back from them saying yay or nay, and they send you a little piece of paper with a daggone stamp on it saying you can have it. But yeah, under the NFA you are required that, so they will require that. All this is detailed in Biden's let's take some bulletproof form. Regulate possession of existing assault weapons under the NFA. Currently, the NFA requires individuals possessing machine guns, silencers, suppressors, and short-barreled rifles to undergo a background check and register those weapons with the ATF. Due to these requirements, such weapons are rarely used in crimes. As president, Biden will pursue legislation to regulate possession of existing assault weapons under the NFA. Once again, an assault weapon is defined as being capable of selective fire, which means fully automatic, which no AR-15 is capable of. So, by very definition, no AR-15 could be put under the NFA because they are not selective fire. Realistically, the ATF classifies a firearm receiver as housing both the barrel and the trigger group. So, realistically, an AR-15 shouldn't even be regulated, period. You shouldn't have to do a background check. You shouldn't have to send it to a FFL. You shouldn't have to do anything. You should be able to go to your local Walmart and pick them up right off the shelf and walk out with them. The receiver is classified as the thing that holds the triggers. But by definition, the receiver also must be able to hold a barrel for it to be considered a receiver. So the lower receiver doesn't hold the barrel, so it, by definition of the ATF's definition now, it cannot be considered a receiver. And the upper receiver, which holds the barrel, but it doesn't house the trigger group, so it can't be considered a receiver either. So technically, under the ATF's very definition, the AR-15 technically isn't even a firearm, because neither one of the receivers hold both the barrel and the trigger. Funny how that works, ain't it? The above paragraph on Biden's website links to a memorandum from former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords Law Center that calls for the regulation of assault weapons under the NFA. I'm sorry, assault weapons are regulated under the NFA. It says it right there. Machine guns, meaning guns capable of full auto fire. They're already regulated. The Giffords Memorandum notes, the NFA, enacted in 1934, was the first federal regulation of the manufacture and transfer of firearms. Machine guns, short barrel rifles, and silencers are currently regulated under the NFA. In order to possess NFA firearms, individuals must undergo a background check process that includes the submission of photo identification and fingerprints and requires the registration of the firearm with the ATF. Individuals must also pay a $200 transfer tax, an amount that has not changed since the NFA was established in 1934. Now, if you think about it, the reason that they did the NFA, before that, you could have a fully automatic Thompson machine gun or whatever you wanted shipped directly to your front door. You could literally buy them out of the back of magazines. But because supposedly, like gangsters and everybody were using them left and right, that's when they enacted the tax. Now, $200 today, that's like a quarter or half of someone's paycheck. So it's not too awful bad, but think about a 1934. Nobody could hardly afford that. So, yeah. That right there was done to try to take away people's guns and keep them from getting them. All the way back then, they were starting to do it. They claim it's for, the safety of people. That didn't save people from getting killed. People just use different weapons. I mean, if someone wants to kill someone, they don't have to use a gun. They can use a knife. They can use a rock. You can use your bare hands. If someone wants someone else dead, they will find a way. Gun is just quicker. The Giffords Memorandum that then calls for the policy that the Biden campaign website also endorses. Giffords proposes that Congress require all existing assault weapons to be registered under the NFA. The Giffords Memorandum specifically defines assault weapons to include the AR-15, stating, assault weapons are a class of semi-automatic firearms that are designed to kill people quickly and efficiently. The most common variety of the AR-15 is a civilian version of the M16, a combat rifle that made its debut in the battlefield in Vietnam. The AR-15 is by definition not an assault weapon. It's not. Assault weapons are a class of semi-automatic firearms? No, they're not. They are defined as being selective fire, full auto firearms, machine guns. AR-15s aren't. They are trying to take away your rights. Do not let them. Because next, they will say, oh, well, these are too dangerous. no one should have them. And because you registered your AR-15, they know you have it. They will come for it. They will take it. And there's nothing you can do. If you try to stop them, they will throw you in federal prison for the rest of your life. If they don't just shoot you instead. I mean, this is the same stuff that, the dude back in the early 1940s did. When a society takes away your right to protect yourself, your government does, that's tyranny. That government needs to be overthrown. Now, I'm not calling for that, but that is what our Second Amendment is for, to keep our government in check. They've already violated the Second Amendment by putting any restrictions on them whatsoever. Shall not be infringed. You can't get any clearer than that, people. But yet, with the NFA, they officially infringed on it. As noted, if lawfully enacted, the policy could encompass all existing assault weapons. In practice, this could mean every American who owns an AR weapon like an AR-15 or any other gun deemed by Democrats to be an assault weapon could be required to submit their fingerprints, yada, yada, yada. We said that. In a recent interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper asked Biden, so do gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for our guns. Biden responded, bingo, you're right. If you have an assault weapon, the fact of the matter is they should be illegal. Period. Politicians like him should be illegal. They're coming for your guns. The first step is to enact this. Okay, you can keep them, but you have to register them. Then they will come and take them. They will deem them too dangerous for anyone to have because of the possibility that it could be used to kill someone or go on a mass shooting or whatever they will claim. Then they will come and they will take it. You either give it up willingly or you go to federal prison. An unarmed society is an obedient society. Look what happened during World War II. That's going on right now in China. In China, weapons are illegal. They can't have any. And they are literally rounding people up, putting them in trains, shaving their hair, selling it, harvesting their organs while they're still alive. That's still going on. And nobody's doing anything about it. They can't. They can't stand up for themselves. I'm sorry, but a bullet goes a lot farther than them throwing a rock or a stick. They are coming for your guns. They want to control your life. They will pack the Supreme Court so that way people like Amy Coney Barrett, who is for the Constitution, doesn't have a say-so and say, oh, that's bull crap. You can't do that. It's unconstitutional. They put 10 daggone extreme far left liberals in the Supreme Court and her vote doesn't matter. This is what they want, people. Do not let them get power. Vote in person in November to keep them from controlling your life. Stay vigilant, and I will see you in the next video.